Hello everyone, welcome to Chaudhary Data World channel. Today I am here with a new video in SQL series. Under that SQL series we are having TCL commands, that is transaction control language, in which famously we are using commit, Savepoint and rollback. So we'll be becoming aware with all the functionalities related to commit, Savepoint and rollback and what it is. All the things we will be clearing into this particular video. So let's get started with the video. First one, we are having commit. Before moving ahead with commit, Savepoint and rollback, we will first take an overview of what transaction is, because you are going to use this particular concept in whole of this particular video. So this transaction is nothing but the sequence of one or more SQL statements. So suppose I will take you to one example. So this particular example is something in which you are handling in a single transaction, you are handling multiple. First you are handling select query, after that you are handling insert query, then there is update query. So all these queries when merged together and you are executing at a go, that is only called as transaction. And for a particular transaction we are having a particular session. That means for that particular session you are handling one transaction at that moment. So what happens is, basically, if suppose you are doing some transaction or doing some operation on your database. Now if suppose you want to have some changes made into the database and it is finalized that changes need to be done. So because the transaction is very long and you are having multiple queries into it, after that query which you are finalized that this is not to the changes to be done on the DB, then you need to provide a commit over there. That means you are committing those changes whatever you have made into the before queries. You want to just make those changes into the DB. For that, what you need to do is you need to have commit statement over there. So this is the overview of how commit works. Now after that we are having Savepoint. Savepoint is nothing but it divided transaction into smaller logical parts and apply rollback to a specific point. Correct. So this you will not understand until and unless I will explain you by a layman example. Suppose today you want to go to your office, right? You started your bike from your home to office, and in between you have stopped at 2 points. First point, you went to the Nasta center where you took your breakfast. After that you moved to the another point, that is stationery. You want to purchase some stationery item and then go to your office. So there are 2 points where you are stopping in between. First is the Nasta center and another one is the stationery shop. Correct. Now what happens is you forget your helmet at your Nasta center and you move to your stationery shop, or either you move to your office and you remember that you forgot your helmet, right? So to take that helmet back, you came from your office or stationery shop to that Nasta point, that means Nasta center. That is a stop point for you, right? You have remembered that at Nasta center I forgot that, right? Because you stopped that at that particular moment and that you saved in your memory that you have stopped at Nasta center. So that become a stop point for you, and in the SQL terms this become a save point for you. This is only called as save point, and we are that Nasta center is a save point name, and that again that stationery shop is another different stop point name, which is also a save point. So we in this whole journey you are having 2 save points, that is first is Nasta center and another is stationery shop. So similarly we are defining that into this particular one also. You are having a transaction, that means at this particular moment you started to go to your office from your home. This is save point 1, that means here you stop at the Nasta center, and this is a stop point 2, that is you move to the stationery shop, and finally you move to your office. Correct. So what happens is, in a big transaction you are having multiple queries. You are dividing those queries into smaller chunks with a stop point name as SP1, save point named as another save point name as SP2. So a stop point is nothing but it's a layman term, but in technical term it's called as save point. Another command we are having is the rollback. Now rollback is something with which we move back to the save point. So suppose if you are moving back to the Nasta center, so there should be some command, right, to move that. Since you are a human, so you automatically understand that you have to go to Nasta center, but in SQL you explicitly tell them that rollback transaction to some particular save point name that you are rolling up back, correct? So all these things theoretically you are very much clear now. Now moving ahead with some examples, correct? So here we are having an employee table, which I will just execute it so that you can see that there are 3 data into this particular one, correct? ID and name column is there, 1 2 3 rows are there. Now what I am doing is, first we will move ahead with this commit one, that how commit works. Whatever changes you are making, right, those changes are getting committed, or those changes are, when finalized, you commit those changes into the particular transaction. So what we are doing is, we are beginning the transaction first, then we are doing some delete statement or update statement, any data manipulation we are doing over here. So we are doing delete where ID equals to 1, and after that what we are doing is, we are saving the save point name and then committing it. So there will be no meaning to save the save point, because we are having only one query going in inside this transaction. But I just want to explain you that how commit is working. It will not show anything, but internally what it happens is, when you delete this particular thing, the changes will be saved to your database. So when I will execute it and then execute this, you will see that row number ID 1 has been deleted, correct? After that we are having another one, that is this one. So now in this particular transaction, what we are doing, we are explaining the rollback option and the save point option. So what in this particular transaction we are doing, we are first deleting the ID2 from dbo.employee. After that we are saving the transaction as name as delete1. After that we are roll back to that particular transaction, correct? Rollback transaction, that means this, when you are not defining any save point name over here, that means you want to roll back all the things, whatever changes you have made till now, you want to revert it back. So for that, what we are going to do is, we are first deleting the ID2. You will see that ID2 will not delete, since we are roll backing it up. So when we are now selecting it, you can see that ID number 2 is still there, correct? Because you have given a rollback transaction over there. That means whatever changes you are making in this particular code, with this particular code, it is not getting reflected because of this rollback transaction. That means it's getting rolled back up. Now there is a very good example we are in front of us, which will explain us that how in real-time scenario this whole transaction and commit, after that we are having save transaction point, and then this rollback, all these things how together work. So in this particular example, what we are going to do is, we are having 3 to 4 operations going in a chunk. So here you can see, first we are starting the transaction with this particular code. After that we are truncating the table, truncating the employee table. That means whatever data it is over here right now, it will be truncated. After that, what we are doing is, we are selecting just to check if all the data has been deleted or not. After that, we are inserting few of the data into it, again saving the save point name as sp1. That means we are marking the point over here that it has been inserted, data has been inserted over here. After that, what we are doing, we are updating the name into that data. Right now the name is Rahul, Rohan, Rajiv, right? Then we are updating the name with these 3 lines of code. After that, we are again watching that if it has been updated or not. Once it is updated, we are saving the save point name as sp2. Then again what we are doing is, we are again truncating the table as dbo.employee. That means we did 2 things after inserting, update and then truncate. Then what we are going to do is, we are roll backing it up at the point Savepoint name sp1. That means we want to have all the insert query done over that employee table, but not the update and the truncate. So it will roll back to the sp1. That means it will have data with having id as 1 and name as Rahul, all these data. And then what we are doing is we are deleting the id1 and then committing the transaction t1. Transaction t1 is what we started, correct? So after deleting id1, we are committing the transaction, so that we can see that how commit also work. And at last again we are querying that out, so that we can see what the final data we are having. Now, long story short, I will execute it so that you are having the result set in front of you. Now you can see that we are having 3 different tables. In first table, what it is doing is it is just selecting by first truncating the table and then selecting. That's why this particular table is blank. After that we are inserting, then saving the Savepoint, correct? After that we are updating that whole values whatever we have inserted, and then saving the Savepoint and then truncating it, correct? And this rollback has been done then. So after updating, you can see that there is select statement, correct? So since update has been done, so it has been changed to Ram, Sam and Sita, that names are. And then what we are doing is we are rolling it back up to sp1, that is Savepoint 1, correct? At the Savepoint 1, what it was insert a statement over there, right? That means whatever the original data was, it will come by rolling it up with the roll up transaction sp1, correct? And then what we are doing is we are deleting the id1 and committing the transaction. That's it. That means we will delete the id1 when we insert it, correct? Whatever we have inserted, we will delete id1 from it and then commit the transaction, and then we will select it. We will get the final result at this one with id1 deleted from it, and the whatever 2 and 3 IDs are there, those will be from this particular statement, since transaction has been rolled back to this sp1. So that's the whole story, how this Savepoint, commit and rollback works into your practical scenario. And this was only about this video. Thank you so much guys for watching the videos throughout, and see you in the next one.